Hi- Welcome to Driving Catalyst. We're out here racing with Swarm. We got TiVo in the house and Chris, my other host to Driving Catalyst. I've got Andre and Miroslav and Nori here and Andy. Wanted to start off today's Driving Catalyst by asking people what Driving Catalyst means to them, or what could it mean? What do you see as effective ways to drive Catalyst? What are you doing to drive Catalyst? Tell us. I'll let Chris go first to show us the way. Put him on the spot first, but just get ready because I'm gonna put you on the spot too.
So welcome everybody to Driving Catalyst. This is our fourth iteration and we're continue to improve lap after lap with this. And now we want to know a couple of questions from you guys, what you're doing to drive Catalyst and what driving Catalyst means to you. And we might throw a few racing puns at it and try to get this party started. So TiVo, if you could elaborate on what you've been doing to drive Catalyst, especially in the tool makers and maintainers division, would really love a quick update on what you think driving Catalyst means to you.
Well, right now there are many ideas how to start. Maybe if I could bounce back a question first, like what is driving? What does it mean to drive something?
Good question. So driving, like I think of driving in this sense is like cattle driving or process driving. How do we move around how are we assessing attention in different areas to grow Catalyst? So what are we doing to push it? Yes, we're allowed to crash because it's an experiment. That's why we have a pit crew out here. We're the pit crew as well. We're all drivers, but we all take turns behind the wheel, and that's what we're trying to explore out here. So yeah, driving.
Yeah, and a lot of the math makes a lot of sense in the blockchain. Force equals mass times acceleration and a few things. So driving, we want to get things moving. So I guess we could kind of maybe ask, what do you think is the key or the clutch to getting Catalyst moving? Nori, what do you think is key here for getting Catalyst started?
All right, sorry, I have computer issues and I can't move my mouse at all, so I can't mute or unmute, so hopefully you can hear me. For me, driving Catalyst is about being involved. It's a super large, decentralized kind of community. We had a lot of conversations recently about the commons, and that takes a community and actually has process and does things. So we do have process, we have Catalyst itself, and we're evolving it. But for myself personally, it's being involved. It's jumping in and helping where I can. It's being a part of the vision. And for me personally, it's helping out with governance, being on the CC admin team, facilitating the circle meetings, being involved in conversations, jumping into Zoom calls, and having those hard conversations when needed, and supportive conversations and generative conversations and idea generation. All those things are really important. But for me, also the flavor of participation that I do is I really believe in the strength of the network. So I spend a lot of time building bridges, connecting communities, and looking across chasms and trying to open up silos and bring people together, because I think the power of the network is, as you increase the number of connections, the network itself becomes more and more powerful and the network effect takes over. So that's really my passion, is how do we do that in a fair, humane, inclusive way to drive towards this beautiful world where everyone's participating, everyone's voices are heard, and we're able to build something beautiful. So that's why I'm here.
Brilliant. Nori's building the road for Catalyst and all of us to drive on. Thank you so much, Nori.
Yes.
Andre, what is you doing as the clutch of Catalyst here, and maybe a little insight? What do you feel driving Catalyst means to you?
Yeah, I think it's also just being involved and like Nori said, creating more roads. I think there's already so much you can get if you just go out and look, just go on the internet and look to the communities that already exist. You'll definitely find something you can do, and it just keeps growing. So just being involved, I think, and looking, searching the communities.
Internet's bad, man.
We're working on upgrading Andre's internet,
Yep.
and yeah,
We lost you.
Sorry
Andre,
for losing
you
you.
might have to turn off your video.
Yeah.
Output.
You look frantic. Oh man. Well, let's see. TiVo, driving Catalyst. What does it mean to you now? We'll come back.
Yeah. So personally, I feel like this is it felt like a very huge ship you get into, but once you kind of get accustomed to it, you feel the force under it is riding you. So not driving yourself, but you kind of feel the flow and you go with that. And answering the Chris Keller's like how to make it move in a different direction. And I think that is something very cool, what most of people might not feel in their life. Like, oh, my voice is I heard. This changes or budgets is the larger thinking. And the way I help or try to help is also building bridges in my own way and creating collaborations where I see that, hey, coordination could be done here, and opening up these kinds of like discussion awareness where people can speak up and then use my way to scale it up or improve it so it gets to even wider audience. I usually been quite an introvert in my life. Like basically before I started to work, I just like to sit in a corner, do some coding, and never thought that I will just open up the Zoom call and don't care does anybody join or not. I'm gonna record and just share the information. But now I'm here, I'm doing that. So this is how I drive right now, and hopefully I will be able to race together in the same line, so I don't have to lead. Or I like to stay at the background.
Yeah, I loved.
You're a good wheelman, man. You've been doing a great job, and thank you
Yes.
for driving Catalyst.
Thank you. Yes, I loved the.
Love.
Wait, I want to throw
Go ahead,
something
Peter,
in
go
real
ahead.
quick. I loved it. You were talking about TiVo, about like kind of feeling this flow or force that's this process is moving. It's moving fast. Lots of people, myself included, feel overwhelmed at times. So we have to be able to, maybe Chris is a flywheel, what spins and then engages the clutch, So that's a flywheel. We gotta get some traction front to the wheels here, and that's what we're all trying to do that. But Catalyst is gonna keep spinning. It's an iterative cycle, and it's hard for us all to see it and understand what's going on. Lots of things are surprising because lots of people are new, and we're trying to create continuity of information and some cohesive like front, so we can know where we are, know where we've been, see where we're trying to get. Yeah, I like the idea of this flow or force that we have to kind of respect. Yeah. Yeah, Miroslav, tell us. Beautiful beard, man.
Yeah, exactly. Nice beard.
Yes.
Man. Yeah, I'm new here. I don't know what is Catalyst. I am in state of learning and knowing people, and maybe in a couple of months I will have something to say. But for now, I know what is idea, but yeah, for now I think that I'm not even in. I didn't start the motor, I will say. So
Mm.
yeah, it must pass some time, then I will catch, I think, everything and learn a lot, and then I will be complete driver. So we will see.
Yeah.
Miroslav's riding shotgun right now. Strap up, Miroslav, you're in for a ride.
You're in for a
Andy, would
ride.
you like to participate? Happy to have you. If not, that's perfectly fine as well. Maybe what driving Catalyst means to you?
Right, thanks for the opportunity, Chris. I don't think I have anything else to add from the road that Norris was telling about. The drive, the force of drive that Tifo was telling us. Well, I think the one more thing that we can add to that is actually we have the road, we have the motion, we have the motor, and then we just need to add a little bit more bridge on for people to actually use the motor and then driving through the road, right? So I think that's one part as well, because most of the people, Nori might build the roads. It's very good. Tifo has the motor running on, right? Just like Peter said that it keeps running on, it will spinning out. But some people just don't know that there's this road, there's this motor that's ready to be used to have their ideas coming into this ecosystem, right? Because people know that, hey, people might not know what's Catalyst, just like Miroslav said, and then how to use it. So yeah, driving it is like also giving education to people. Though there is something like this, and then you can use it, you can make your idea comes through. So yeah, I guess that's what my point of view. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Andy. Yeah, it's like I just had while you were talking, Andy, it came to my mind that maybe like onboarding is the gearbox or something. You know, we got to be able to let people know how to find where they can be the most valuable, where they can attach their passion to. And that's what gives them traction, you know? Yeah. Traction to the wheels, baby. All right, Nori, let's go.
Yeah, I was just listening to Andy, and that whole car metaphor made me laugh a bit because like we're trying to drive and steer and it's a bit loose, and sometimes it's like, whoa, why are we going this way? But we're figuring it out, and we do definitely need some kind of mechanics to tune that up. But I also think we're still early days, so my vision is like this giant 1940s bus, and we haven't invented synchro mesh yet, so we're trying to get into second gear, and it's like grinding. You're like, oh my god, why? And then finally it slips in and we start to get a little bit faster, and you got to get the engines and the gears revved at the same rate in order to shift gears. And but we're getting there. The bus is moving and people are piling on, and it's really exciting conversation.
People are like, where are the seat belts? I can't handle it.
But yeah, I love the metaphor. It's like, it makes me appreciate that there is a bus and that we're moving and driving down this road.
Yeah, definitely. Me too.
So in my roots in Formula car racing, Formula cars, they're built on a very specific set of rule books, and there's a very big gray area that you can play in, but there's a very clear-cut set of rules that you play by. And for example, in Formula One, there's a rule book that the FIA comes out with every year, and each team has to build to these specific standards and bring their piece to the track and compete with the best thing they could come up with that year. And I'm just curious if we could turn this blockchain race and use Catalyst as like that incubator for our team to really bring the best piece to the track this year. And I think what we have and the teams we have are really far beyond what a lot of the things I've seen in the other ecosystems. So just curious, what type of standards do you think we should bring to the table maybe this year? And I think a lot of what TiVo touched upon in the last meeting,
Yeah,
and those were really, really good, especially focusing on stuff like the CA process, which we can really make improve, and that will just make the process that much better. So maybe standards or what you'd like to see for what our car will look like, because we're like in this giant party bus, but we're heading to the shop and we got to build something to go race this season.
yeah, these discussions and workshops like TiVo does a lot, I feel like are kind of building towards being able to set healthy standards that create healthy competition. We're feeling all that out, but we got to keep going. TiVo, you turn off your mic for a second there. I feel like you had something to say.
Yeah, I kind of lost my track, but I will come back to that. I must.
Okay.
Traction is loose. I just saw my bump on the road.
Yeah,
Take over.
little oversteer over here. Yeah. So yeah, we get the what do you think if we needed some boost inside Catalyst, what would where would the if we could think of a boost as attention, I like to think. So do a lot because there's so many people who have limited time when they come in. What's on the top of the stack for them to engage with is usually or whatever their onboarding point usually ends up where they spend their time to like just figuring out where they should be, what they should be paying attention to. So it's like so yeah, that's like onboarding to the gearbox, but then if the attention's the boost, like what where am I what can we how should we think about driving attention so we can, or how do we get some boost without like making people wish we had 5-point harnesses, instead of just 1 point, or none.
What is
Good
a
question,
harness?
Peter.
Like a seatbelt. Yeah, a 5-point harness would be like it straps in the back, straps on the sides, and one in the middle, like a baby car seat or something. But they have those in race cars because they're just going so fast, keeps the driver safe. They also have those neck things to keep them
Yes.
from breaking their necks. Yeah. So safety.
Yeah.
So we can put anything onto this engine of Catalyst, right? We can put a turbocharger on, we can put a supercharger on, we can put nitrous in this thing. Now, every single one of them comes with problems, right? So each of them solves something, gives it more air, gives it more power, but a turbocharger, they're going to blow up. Superchargers, they might blow up too. And nitrous might blow your stuff up. So anything we put on this thing might blow up this engine. So we just have to be very careful how we tune this process. And I'm so glad you guys are along for the ride because you're
Yeah.
really good at this.
It's true. And that brings me to mind, like, I know Nori the one thing he didn't mention in his day was he does drive the retrospective bus, like we need to be like capturing where we've gone so we know how to decide where to go in the future, and that so other people can see what the people who have spent the most time in whatever process, what's in their heads as to best practices, whatever ways to proceed, things that need to be changed. That's a important like tune up for the system. Yeah, retrospectives. Important.
Yeah, I think that's a really good topic. And yeah, that's where I kind of don't want this to be an F1 race because those cars are really expensive. You don't want to crash them. But I think we shouldn't be afraid to crash. We shouldn't be afraid to get a fender bender or a dent, or even to totally wreck the car, because we learn from those, and we should do quick, fast experiments and say, does this work? No. Okay, what did we learn from it? How do we get better? And we should celebrate those failures as much as we celebrate the successes, because we can learn so much and grow and keep moving forward. And that's why I love the retrospective process, because you both look at what went well and you can celebrate those, and what didn't go so well, and then how do we improve. And I'd love to build a learning culture rather than a culture that's afraid of making mistakes. We should not penalize people for failing. We should celebrate that.
Yeah.
As long as we learn from it.
As long as we learn from it. Yep. That's why the retrospectives are important. Most definitely.
Nori, that retrospective aspect is like one of my favorite, Stephen Covey's book, The Sharpening the Saw, the 7th habit of highly effective people is sharpening the saw, going back and seeing what in retrospect, what can we improve on? Let's go back and I really like that aspect, and it is fostering that learning culture, and it's super important because we want to keep that education going and not make it a competitive thing, so that everyone can participate, feel like they're a part of it, and not feel like that just because Miroslav knows more than me that I'm not going to keep up. Everybody needs to keep learning and enjoying being a part of that. Jump on the party bus. What did we do wrong last time? Let's figure it out. I've learned more from my crashes and mistakes and blowing stuff up than I ever did by winning. So it's important for us to know that we can make mistakes, we can lose and still come back better.
Yeah. You got to remember, learning is play, or you learn best when you feel like you're playing. So it's important not to get dogged out on failure, because that's your best opportunity to learn. And in order to learn, you got to be having fun. That's why you got to keep the community excited, even when we're crashing into the walls sometimes. Or it's like going to, like Andre said, little derby, destruction, little dry, like he's a destruction derby. Yeah. I've been to some of those here where I live in Tennessee, and they're fun, but they are destroying stuff, and it's it's cool to see, and it's interesting to see those drivers' strategies as to how they're having fun while they're crashing. It's important to play. It's important to have fun and learn from the mistakes. Keep repeating that OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, act, and move forward. And the faster you can OODA, the stronger your system is. Effectively.
We say things may break for a reason.
Yes.
If you're not pushing those limits and riding at the bleeding edge, we're not seeing the limits of what we can do. And rather than play it safe, we're more happy to let things break. And that's kind of the Catalyst side. And for people that doesn't resonate with, we should really talk about like the DCF side, where the rules are almost the opposite. Like, things must not break. You need a high level of skill and knowledge and competency to play in that space. And Catalyst is not, but the two together make up the entire Cardano kind of governance structure. So it's important to keep that in mind, because there are places where the motto is not things may break.
Yeah.
And Catalyst is very special. It's about radical inclusivity. It's about things may break. It's about moving fast. It's about community. But it's not the only thing. There's other places where things are safer, more stable, and looking at technology and infrastructure.
Yeah, we want those auditability cars to be nice and crisp and well tuned and functioning. It's important to know where our baselines are, so that we know whether we're doing good or bad. That's not something that we want to be. That's the backbone. We got to know where we are, so we can know where we need to go.
You got to have a good team though too. It's really important to have a good team. One note, and I'll probably start to tone it down here for the meeting. But I ended up as a pit crew one time at a demolition derby, and years of working with engineers and working on every little nuance of the car. These guys, you know what they did when they came in after the first run? They handed me a sledgehammer. Now, have I ever taken a sledgehammer to a car before? No. but that was my first time going at it with a sledgehammer. So you have to have the right pit crew for the right job, for the right race, and really appreciate you guys tuning in and joining us for Driving Catalyst. We will do this after town halls probably every Wednesday and try to do some more as we ramp up and switch gears here. We don't want to over rev, you know, but
No.
we're gonna keep moving.
Yes. Thank you all for being here. Andy, you want to say anything else? I saw you came back online. If not, we can wrap it up. You good? Yeah, it seemed like you had something to say, man.
No, not really, not really. I was having to go for my son going to bed, right? It's already my 10 o'clock here. So I went back with Nori saying something about that things may break in this catalyst, which is quite interesting because it's like the exact opposite side of the Cardano, where everything should go really, really well there. But here we can find those kind of things. So yeah, I think it's the interesting thing that I get from Nori. So,
Yeah.
I guess that's it.
Yes, thank you. No, it's very, very true. We are driving fast. We don't want to be scared to run into the wall, but we got to remember that people's time, effort, and attention are being spent and given to our space and into this community, and we need to be stewards of that. And that's the biggest thing. That's why, yeah, that's why we're doing this. We got to get people excited, get people talking about it, get people thinking about it in terms of like a dynamic system and whatnot, and something that you can have influence on, whether you're driving it or whether you're part of the pit crew maintaining it, maintaining the mechanism, this machine that is Catalyst, that can provide lots of value to different people, but can also, you know, make, depending on how efficient it's being, you know, people can get upset because of how the mechanism operates, and we got to be listening to that and being able to factor that in as quickly as possible so we can reduce the amount, we can increase the happiness to displeasure ratio in the community. We want to, yeah, be super good stewards of everyone's attention, because I know for me, I put in effort here, and I feel well compensated with the friends that I've made and the stuff that I've gotten to do, but totally resonate with people who put in lots of work to proposals and whatnot and not gotten funded, and the nuances to the system seem to have pinched them in some way. So, you know, we got to be looking for those people and looping them in, dragging them into our groups, helping them, you know, hit it better on the next lap, because that's the thing. It is fast. We can't stop. So it's rolling. I think it's really cool. Anyway, Chris, you got anything?
Thanks for today, Peter. Thank you for everyone for joining. And we do have a
Yes.
lot of flagmen and stewards in the racing business. And
Mhm.
it's sometimes you're being naughty when you get summoned to the flagman, or you know, your flagman's your best friend. They're always giving you the signals. But when you get called to the steward's office, you probably did something and get in trouble. And it's expensive to crash and break things, but that's why we get better every time.
Need some more
So,
yellow flags.
Thank you guys.
Yes. Thank you.
We'll call the checkered flag on this one, and thank you guys. I know we have Racing Swarm coming up. Is that today, Peter?
Oh, no, this event was both
Okay, gotcha.
together. We did. Yep. Appreciate y'all for
Awesome.
being here. Love you. Peace out.
Thank you for your time.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.